Hello, my name's Elizabeth Baker. I'm a storyteller. My story today has this spoon in it. It doesn't look very interesting, does it? It's gone all grey and old, and I'd quite forgotten I had it. But once upon a time it was shiny, and it belonged to a bishop called Nicholas. Actually, it belonged to three young girls. Bishop Nicholas bought it from them. Oh, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you the story. Make yourselves comfortable and get ready for a tale to take you away. Long ago, there was a family, a father and his three daughters. The girl's mother, the father's wife, she died not long after the youngest daughter was born, and whilst I'm sure they would have been a lot happier if they'd had their mother, they were quite a happy little family unit. They made the best of what they had. The father was a carpenter. Oh, he could do amazing things with wood. He carved chairs and bowls and all sorts of beautiful furniture. But he also mended things, so when he wasn't carving beautiful things, you could find him up on the roofs of houses in the town mending the timbers. The eldest daughter, she ran the house. She did all the cooking and the cleaning and the washing, and they couldn't have managed without her. The middle daughter, well, she looked after all the money. She made sure that they had enough money each month to pay their bills, to buy their food, to buy anything else that they needed. The youngest daughter, she was too little yet to do anything, but she had a really special job too. She had the voice of an angel. She sang and her voice was as clear as a bell, and so each evening when the father came home from work after they'd eaten, they would all settle down in front of the fire and the youngest daughter would sing. And as I said, they were a happy little family unit until one day disaster struck. The father had been working high up on a roof of one of the houses in the town when he'd slipped and fallen, and he'd badly injured his back. So badly, in fact, that the doctor said he must stay in bed for 2 whole months. He mustn't try to walk, he certainly mustn't try to work, and if he was lucky, well, he might just walk again. The three girls, well, they rallied round to look after him. The eldest kept the house clean and she looked after him, and the middle one eked out their money. But no matter how hard they tried, soon the money ran out. "What shall we do?" said the middle daughter. "Well, the first thing we mustn't do is tell our father," said the eldest daughter, and she looked fiercely at the youngest, who had a habit of telling tales. "I won't tell," said the youngest. "I'll just sing to him and keep him occupied, but what are we going to do?" "Well, I've been thinking," said the eldest. "We've got quite a lot of vegetables growing in the garden, probably more than we need for the next 2 months, so let's go to market with some of them and we'll sell them." And so that's what the girls did. Each week they went to market with some of the vegetables and they sold them, but soon they were selling more and more vegetables just to make ends meet, and soon there wasn't going to be enough food for them to last through the 2 months of their father being ill. "What shall we do now?" said the middle daughter. "We're running out of food. We need some money. Why don't we sell some of the pots and the pans that we don't use? I'll sort out which ones we don't need and we can sell those." And so they did. They took them to market and they sold what pots and pans they didn't need, and then they started to sell some of the bits and pieces of furniture that their father made and that they could manage without, and eventually they sorted through their cutlery, which had been very fine, had been given to their father in payment for some furniture that he made for a very wealthy man. So it was a beautiful silver cutlery set. Well, eventually they took that to market. And that's when they met the bishop. They didn't really know he was a bishop. They'd not met him before. But he saw how the girls each week had come to market with different things to sell, and he saw how thin the girls were looking and how their clothes were looking a bit ragged and not quite so clean. And so when he saw that they were selling spoons and knives and forks, he gave them a gold coin. The money was good. It kept them going for a while, but their father, well, It turned out he was going to need a bit longer to recover. The doctor said he must spend at least another month in bed, and that was going to take them beyond Christmas. And how were they going to manage? The eldest daughter said, "We need to sell some of our clothes. Let's sort out the ones that we don't need and we'll take those down to market." And so the girls did, and they didn't raise much money, certainly not enough for a Christmas dinner, but it was going to keep them going for a little bit longer. Bishop Nicholas, he saw how poor now the girls looked, and on Christmas Eve he went past the house and he peered in through the window. The family had gone to bed. It was really quite late, and there was just the remains of a fire burning in the grate, and as he peered through the window, Bishop Nicholas could see that there was hardly any furniture. There was no sign of any sort of Christmas celebration. In fact, all that he could see were the girls' socks hanging over a rail in front of the fire. And that's when he had an idea. He knew that in his pocket he had 3 gold coins. He'd been given them to help the poor. Well, surely this family were the poor. He needed to help them, but how could he get the coins to them so late at night? He looked up at the roof and then he had an idea. He climbed up a tree and onto the roof, and he decided that if he dropped the 3 coins down through the chimney, well, the girls would find them the next morning. And so that's what he did. He dropped the 3 coins down the chimney, and quite by chance they landed in 3 of the socks warming in front of the fire. It was cold up on the roof, and when Bishop Nicholas had finished, before he climbed back down, his hands were really, really cold. So he blew on them with a ho, ho, ho to warm them up. And he carefully climbed back down the roof and went back to his home. The youngest daughter woke to the sound of Bishop Nicholas warming his hands, and she wasn't sure what it was. But the next morning, when the girls went downstairs and took down their socks to put them on, out tumbled the 3 gold coins. "Where have they come from?" said the eldest. "I don't know," said the middle daughter. "I haven't a clue." And the youngest smiled and she said, "I don't know either, but I did hear somebody on their hands last night. Was it you?" "No," said the eldest. "Was it you?" "No," said the middle. "Well, I wonder what it could have been," she said. The 3 gold coins was enough money for the family to live until the father was well again. Bishop Nicholas, he kept an eye on them from a distance, but he never did tell them that it was him who dropped the coins down through the chimney that Christmas Eve. People remember St. Nicholas on the 6th of December. It's St. Nicholas Day because Bishop Nicholas became a saint, and around the world he is known as St. Nicholas or Santa Nicklaus. Sometimes it sounds like another name. Santa Nicklaus, Santa Nicholas. I wonder if that sounds like another name to you. I better take this spoon and polish it. If it belonged to a bishop, really it should be looking a bit nicer than this, shouldn't it?